Okay, guys, thank you all for coming. It's I'm quite honored that I have such an audience with me. My name is Ivan. I'm the co-founder and product development lead at Nolus. I come from a background of traditional finance, and I have more than just around 20 years of experience in digital media, marketing automations, and product development. So, what is Nolus? Nolus, in a nutshell, defines the money market between lenders who are looking to earn yield on their deposited stable assets and borrowers who are looking to significantly amplify their current equity. So, for borrowers, Nolus provides up to 150% above their initial investment with a lowered margin call risk and access to the underlying asset throughout the whitelisted yield-bearing strategies. The design actually is inspired by lease products, regular lease products, where one can obtain a physical asset by providing a fraction of the cost up front and use the asset throughout the whole lease period. And in the end of the day, receive full ownership once he repays the loan at full. Applying the same principle, Nolus kind of unlocks the full potential of crypto markets by reducing the industry's steep over-collateralization requirements, which results in significantly improved capital efficiency and in the end of the day, more favorable lending options for borrowers. So just to outline an example of the functionality, I would like to introduce you with Danny, our MC here at Nebular. He's a well-known Cosmos DJ and an ambassador for the ecosystem, and a sweetheart who obviously cares a lot about his friend Barney. We all know that, just like everyone here, we are all long on Atom, and but Danny, for the sake of the example, wants to get the most out of his investment. What Danny can do with Nolus, he can scale his holding with up to 150%. By only providing a fraction of the cost up front. So in this example, Danny actually provides a 1K down payment, just like a lease on a regular market. For 1K USDC, he borrows the same amount from Nolus, and both the down payment and the loan are then automatically brought to a DEX, swapped there, and he's kind of effectively leveraging up to 211 atoms, which is 2 times the size of his initial investment. The down payment and the loan that he has already taken are parked into a smart contract and act as collateral upon his DeFi lease position. Now, what happens next? Danny just needs to wait for his investment to appreciate and repay the loan by either providing more funds to the system or just liquidating the DeFi lease position at all. Furthermore, Danny's interest stays locked throughout the whole lease period without ever changing. So, for example, if Danny's interest is 14% while opening his lease position, it will not change until the end of his position. But Danny also sleeps well at night due to the little risk that is involved with his strategy. In the unfortunate events of significant price depreciation, his assets will not be liquidated at once. Instead, the system will only liquidate a small portion to return his margin to a healthy level. In fact, Danny will only start incurring losses after around 50% depreciation in the Atom's price, assuming, of course, he does not repay his outstanding debt. On the plus side, he can lease liquid stake derivatives, earn staking rewards, and partially cover his interest and principal as well, meaning that de facto he's creating a self-repaying loan. In future, Danny will, just like regular leases, in future Danny will be able to put his leveraged assets to work, making additional yield through a set of whitelisted strategies on Nolus. Because the system is designed to work on a cash basis model, accrued interest from leases actually gets distributed to lenders. Then it can also supply stable coins to the system and earn yield from the accumulated least interest, with some additional incentives from the protocol's buyback engine. He can also accumulate yield to repay the outstanding debt for his DeFi lease, the DeFi lease position. Under the hood, Nolus utilizes a semi-permission proof-of-stake blockchain built using the Cosmos SDK and a Cosmos smart contract platform. The blockchain is tuned to share value between validators and the protocol itself, thus alternatively creating another revenue stream for different participants in the system. Interoperability is at the core offering at Nolus. The protocol can actually tap into various liquidity hubs without creating asset fragmentation across chains. This design allows the system to swap any asset on the fly with every DEX that it has integration with. Furthermore, this design approach actually eliminates the need for the money market to have multiple lending pools from which the system can borrow from, and effectively leaving it with LPs only with stable assets. Nolus does not follow a hub and spoke model. Instead, it utilizes IBC and interchain accounts to interact with foreign networks. A smart contract on Nolus actually orchestrates all real-time transactions that it does with all connected chains. And as far as I know, this is the only place that we can actually create this in crypto is using the Cosmos stack. And I think we are amongst the first that provide kind of put it in production, a real-time communication based on IBC and interchain accounts that heavily relies on both protocols. Regarding our roadmap, we had a pretty remarkable year by now. We kind of genesized our network in May. Afterwards, we had a very successful stream swap event that put our token on the market. From there on, we now have a good liquidity on Osmosis. And in the end of the day, we also launched the money market itself. For the time being, we have been operational for less than, I would say, a month. And I'm kind of proud to say that we're almost at $500,000 in terms of total value locked, which is kind of neat. In the near future, we are looking to bump up the version of our chain to bring it to the 47 version of the SDK, which will bring a lot of enhancements and performance improvements, which will actually give us the opportunity to scale even further, even easier. We've also are currently working on something that we call an ETL module, which is an extract, transform, and load client that will aggregate data from the blockchain and put all the data on a lightweight Postgre database that will actually serve as a hub for every analytical instrument and third party and of course proprietary instruments that need to do a lot of heavy requests. So this way we are kind of offloading the network nodes with the computational need to serve millions of requests. This tool is actually available in our GitHub repo and it's open sourced. If anyone wants to kind of play around or see whether he can adapt it for his needs, go there. It's a pretty lightweight Rust client and it's good to go. Some of the product features that are on the roadmap and were requested by our community and we are currently working on are support for more networks and assets on the money market. I believe by the end of this week we will start listing new tokens on the money market that people can lease assets from. The ability giving, we are also working on the ability for users to kind of be able to repay their outstanding loans or fully liquidating their position, utilizing only the funds in their position. So this is something that has been highly requested by the community. So it's kind of a priority for us to bring in this feature because it will kind of unlock the full potential of Nolus. And of course, some things like Knowledge Hub and client-facing swap on the Nolus DApp. And before I close, last but not least, I just want to give you an overview of regarding the security of the protocol. We are currently being audited by Howborn. It's the third consecutive audit this year since we started building it, and things look quite promising. So, thank you for being here, and thank you for your time. Let's fucking list. Yeah, finally.
Who runs the relayers?
Ask around.
Who runs the liquidators?
The liquidators. You said relayers, right?
Yeah.
Who runs the liquidators?
Relays are actually the liquidators.
What's the latency currently like? Isn't IBC still like, it's not fully real time?
It is real time. It is real time.
But like, what's the latency?
It's quite small. I mean, it's just a block height because, yeah, exactly. So the thing is that when a lease position is open, we do not transfer the funds back to the Nolus blockchain, but rather keep them on a DEX, on the DEX meaning the foreign chain. So the only thing that needs to happen to start liquidating is you just pass one message and tell the DEX swap.
Interchain accounts.
Yeah.
When can I use the lease in DeFi? Is there like a roadmap item for it to start leverage DeFi farming in the lease?
Well, this is a really yeah, I know. Everybody's asking us about this, and yeah, you're absolutely correct. But yeah, our concept is that one of the best things that Nolus has is that there's a real underlying asset in every lease position that can be utilized in various ways. However, for the system to work properly and to be able to liquidate those assets if something happens that it's we don't want it to, but at some point happens, we need to keep them in our smart contracts. So to answer your question is when Cosmos's DeFi strategies become broadly available, we will be fully available to integrate with each and any one of them.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of when there's going to be enough market and different protocols that provide some sort of use strategies. We will just be, we're there.
But are you looking for other protocols to make those strategies, or are you going to try and?
No, we don't want to. Our focus. I come from a lending background.
Yeah.
All the team, we are good at lending, and we want to stick to it. That's why we actually don't want to create our own DEX, fight with liquidity, and everything else. The whole concept of Cosmos and those and IBC and Interchain accounts is to use and utilize the different parts of different networks and things that they're good at.
Yeah, no, so I've more so meant as in, let's say you want to integrate with, I don't know, Yumi or Shade protocol or something like that to create a DeFi strategy with the leverage from the lease.
Yeah.
Would you then want Shade or Yumi to take initiative on creating those strategies, or?
No, it's actually part of our design. Is we won't be waiting for them to take the initiative. If they have interchain accounts enabled on their chain, our smart contracts will be doing the heavy lifting from our end.
Yeah, I'm also trying to find who codes the
Yeah.
integration.
I mean, isn't it just like you can just use anything?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. It's
Yeah, but
Yeah,
someone
it's-
wants to write the strategy.
yeah, exactly.
You need to define the strategy, put it into the contract, and
Yeah.
my question was basically, who's going to make the strategies?
Okay. So
It's interchain account. It's like a smart contract account. You can own anything.
Yeah, it can.
So if you do an LP, that's strategy, right?
No, like it's
Yeah.
possible. I'm not trying to ask whether
Yeah.
it's possible,
Mm.
but it's more so.
yeah,
For example, sommelier doesn't make their own
Yeah, but this is in the example of Quasar, this is their core business. I mean, this is what they want to bring on the table. So why do we need to copy this and do it on our own, where we can just open an ICA with them and let.
3x Quasar leverage strategies.
Yeah.
When?
What Oracle solutions do you use? I guess that's the biggest issue.
Yeah, we have our own technology build, because we started building like late 2021. We were out of I would say we spent a lot of time building in silence, and from when we were actually thinking about Oracle solutions, there wasn't any available, like for example now ICQ, for example now Pith is already onboarding different networks. So we went with some proprietary solution. So we kind of built our own Oracle, which feeds data from off-chain feeders.
Sometimes you need like on-chain, like let's say I have an osmosis.
You actually don't need it on-chain. You can feed it every data you can feed off-chain as well. So it's just a matter of.
So you're going to do some calculations on-chain.
Yeah, we do all the calculations. No. Think of it that we have a price feeders that, for example, or some general data feed it to our Oracle, which is on-chain, and which does all the calculations.
Like if I have an Interchain account that owns like osmosis supercharged liquidity that's in a tight range,
Okay.
the value of this will change like
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Where are you getting that value? Like
From osmosis directly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is like your Oracle.
Yeah. Yeah.